Greetings, metaphysicians. This is episode 187, the Home Harmony Device. Now, this is an angelic reformation tool that is just incredible. It's one of my favorites. It is something that you can hang on your wall or take with you that harmonizes spaces. I wish it was in every building. I talk about that in the episode. Join in. I think you'll enjoy it.
You're listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show. The statements and advice offered in this podcast are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition, and are not substitutes for prudent medical care offered by licensed medical professionals. References to healing or treatments in this episode are describing faith-based blessings performed by God and the master healing angels. Neither this episode nor any part of it may be copied, transcribed, distorted, sold, republished, or distributed without first receiving the express written permission of both the CMA International Foundation and Up and Awaken Productions.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to the Let's Get Metaphysical podcast. I'm your host, Renata Maniaci, here to remind you you are still an eternal soul currently having a temporary human experience here on lovely planet Earth. Enjoy it. This is Season 8, Angelic Reformation, and this is episode 187, the Home Harmony Device. This season is all about the body of knowledge known as angelic reformation, which is what we call the tools, processes, and rapid spiritual development work that has been presented through the teacher, Master John Douglas, by his companions, the Master Angels. It is a set of spiritual development tools that anyone can choose to use alongside any existing spiritual practice, religion, or tradition towards the intentional, rapid evolution of your consciousness. If you have not yet listened to the first 2 episodes for this season, please go ahead and listen to episode 168, Angelic Reformation, and episode 169, The Evolution of Consciousness, before listening into this one. They will provide needed context for what we are talking about. Now, if you are ready, then let's get meta. Master Angels, I humbly request your presence, guidance, and support through this episode. Please help these words to be useful to all listeners on their evolutionary journey. Let me know the truth, speak the truth, become the truth, and be the truth. And please let this episode reach whoever needs to hear it. Thank you with full faith. Bless creation. Today we are discussing one of my favorite angelic reformation tools, the Home Harmony Device. A tool that helps to harmonize your home or spaces while clearing the air of mold spores, along with other things. It is a purple and teal image of the Metatron cube symbol and contains various blessings that cleanse spaces in different ways. Here is the exact description of the Home Harmony Device from the globalcma.org website, where it can be purchased. Many homes and buildings have a mixture of stressful interactions and lack of peace. The Master Angels can balance and harmonize different levels of emotions and consciousness in a building or vehicle. They are also able to kill airborne organisms, such as nanobacteria, viruses, molds, and fungi. Now, angelic reformation contains a few different aspects, as we have mentioned on the podcast. The processes, which are MP3s that are listened to, the events, such as the spring and fall tour events, where Master John speaks live and often heals folks' issues while live on the call or in person, and the tools, which are usually physical objects, like the repair discs, the personal pendants, and in this case, the home harmony device. This tool comes in two sizes. The larger size is typically used in a permanent place on the wall of a home, a work environment, or otherwise. The smaller size is meant for travel and for use in your vehicle, things like this. It is one of my very favorite tools, as I mentioned, but before I share my experiences with it, let's hear from a few people who also enjoy the home harmony device.
Hello, I'm Michelle from Wisconsin. I would like to share how the home harmony device has let me regain the ability to travel again. In 2015, travel was next to impossible because of my extreme reactions to mold exposure. As I followed the Lyme protocol and started using the tools the Master Angels have blessed us with, I have arrived at a point where I am not getting sick when staying in hotels and flying. I simply slip the travel size home harmony device into my purse when I go anywhere that I'm concerned about the air quality. I've also recently been asking the Master Angels to create a sterilization bubble or a force field around me that filters out everything the home harmony device protects me from when simply taking a walk in the neighborhood. It is my way of reminding myself that the Master Angels are protecting me and that there is no need to worry. Everything in nature is perfect and has led me to this path.
Hi, my name is Laura, and I'm from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. Today I wanted to tell you about my home harmony disc. I love this painting so much. It's my favorite purchase through CMA. It's beautiful. It's connected to the divine order of Master Angels very clearly. And what I wanted to say about it is that I live in a 100-year-old house, and my house has a tendency towards mold and mildew. And since I brought this disc into my home, I no longer smell the mold and mildew smells in my home. And I think that that is an absolute miracle. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Irina. I live currently in Guadalajara, Mexico. I have been using angelic reformation tools for about 6 years. I want to share my experience with the home harmony device. Once I noticed that it was glowing with white light within the geometry and spilling over the geometry and filling with a bright white light entire image. And the device was emanating the energy that is absolutely amazing, and it was filling the room as I perceived energetically. Same smaller version of the device I keep in my car all the time. Not so long ago, I believe the device stopped and prevented a crash of my car as I was driving, and the outcome of this event was positive, and we drove away totally safe, like nothing happened. And that was also very intense event, and I'm very grateful that I had that device in my car, as it is advised to have it every time when we travel. These are my impressions from the home harmony device, and thank you so much for listening.
My name is Christine. I live in Bronx, New York, and have been using home harmony since it first came out. About 2 years ago, my boyfriend and I had a major move. We were in one area with roommates, one in particular that was extremely volatile, and moving to our own place. We thought we were moving at a certain time, had a moving date, and so I moved our home harmony to the new location to start blessing the new space. Well, our move got moved off, moving date was delayed about 3 times and prolonged the move for about a month. In that time period, without the home harmony, this roommate who had his issues became, downright unsafe. And I later really reflected that these tools have a remarkable ability to ease what elements may be there. And I'm just so grateful for how many ways the angels have come to support us in our situations, to smooth our path. So thank you so much. And I have the small home harmony that I always carry with me wherever I go. So in my backpack, when I'm traveling, I'll pull it out. And again, just so grateful. Thank you.
A big thank you to Michelle, Laura, Irina, and Christine for sharing your experiences with the home harmony device. Thank you so much. Where to start? First of all, I want to acknowledge what was already said. This is a tool where people who are sensitive to mold especially can tell the difference, and this has changed those people's lives. I've seen it over and over, even many folks who obviously did not share their testimonials that I know personally, but it is a game changer. And we may all know someone who is sensitive to mold. As soon as they walk in a building or a place, they feel it. This tool changes lives just for those people without any of the other blessings. That said, we also heard a few examples of how it changes the harmony of certain areas. And one thing I wanted to note in my own experiences, something that Christine, the last person who shared, brought up, noticing the absence of this tool. And I think that's where I will start. I have been using this tool in my home for, I'm going to say, at least 8 years, the big version of it, the larger version that you hang on the wall, you leave there. And it took me a long time because I'm not as sensitive as other people are in various ways, but there is a palpable difference in spaces that have this and spaces that don't. And I just happen to know enough people where I am in spaces often that have this device, this tool, and live there permanently. They're just always there. And notice when you're in a space, especially someone's home, and the different feeling without its presence there. I think it's harder to notice in commercial spaces, public spaces such as grocery stores, movie theaters, pickleball courts, whatever, because you've never experienced that before. I've never been in a grocery store that had the home harmony device. I don't know if there is a grocery store on the planet that has one in it. That would be really cool. But my point is, I never noticed its absence in places like that, but I do notice its absence in homes because that's where I'm used to feeling that coherent, balanced, harmonized frequency. And it is a difficult thing to explain if you haven't felt it. Like so many of these tools, these angelic reformation tools, it is hard to put words to it without explaining it, but you feel it, you experience it, you notice changes and differences. So I definitely notice a difference. I do wish that this tool could be used everywhere. And I'll get into that in a minute. But one of the very biggest things for me is traveling. I do not travel without the travel size of this tool. The travel size is very easy to carry in a backpack, in a larger purse, whatever. I don't go anywhere without it. And it is a lifesaver, especially in hotel rooms. You never know where you're going to stay. Hotel rooms, Airbnbs, even friends' guest rooms, wherever you're staying, when you're not in your own space, in your own bed, in your own everything, it feels different. It's hard for a lot of people to to be in other spaces besides what they're used to. This helps so much. I mentioned the home harmony device way back in the episode on the location repair process, because between these two tools, one is the process you listen to, location repair, and one is this, the home harmony device that you can take with you, the travel size. These are the two tools that enable me to feel comfortable and to sleep anywhere in the world, this combination. Enter the hotel room, first thing I do, set up the home harmony device just on a desk, whatever, lean it against a lamp, and press play on the location repair process to clear out any negative, stagnant, disruptive, all kinds of energies that have been in that space, brought in from other people, brought in from no longer living spirits, humans, things like this. Energies that have been there pre the building, whatever was on the land before, whoever occupied the land before, all of that permeates through layers and buildings. Even if we put a building over something, the energy of whatever was there before. So now I'm getting into location repair, but this is just to say these two tools together enable me to travel and be comfortable, happy, and feel safe and sound to sleep wherever I am in the world. So big deal for me, since I do love to travel. Now, something that recently changed for me, or evolved for me, I guess you could say, is I didn't realize I never had one in my car. I don't know why. I never thought about it. And recently I recognized that this is something that I should do or could do, right? There's no should. This is all everyone's choice and preference, but that I would like to have a home harmony device in my vehicle. And so I did that a few months ago, and there is a palpable difference. It's subtle because I love my vehicle. I've always felt comfortable and safe in it, but there is a shift. And not only that, the air is clearer, which makes sense because one of the things is clearing mold spores, among the other things that I listed previously, that the website also lists in terms of killing negative organisms in the air. And so it has given my vehicle a whole new feel, a very positive, uplifted feel. And I very much appreciate that. And, I have plenty of friends who use this tool as well in their lives who kind of mentioned it. And yeah, I've had this in my car for forever. I've noticed a huge difference. So I finally got on board with that. And not only that, when I travel, I'm obviously carrying it with me. So it is in my rental cars. It is in my planes and trains and boats and whatever else, transportation. But what is interesting to me, what I kind of hinted at before, I would love to see this device tested. I mean, I would love to see all of these tools tested. And what do I mean by tested? Just like somebody who has the time, the space, the interest, the curiosity, like I do. I don't have time to do all of this, nor do I have the necessary access to certain spaces. For example, I would love to see this tool in all buildings on the planet, no matter what they were. But particularly, it would be great to have one of these in every school, government buildings, courtrooms, prisons, jails, airports, stadiums, places where there are hundreds, if not thousands of people at a time, concert venues, wedding venues, places of worship. This is a non-religious item. All of these tools are non-religious. These are spiritual development tools. They do not interfere with any tradition. So if someone out there is listening to this and is curious about this and, like me, loves to see the actual boundaries of things, likes to do research, put one of these up in a space that you have access to. Maybe you run a factory or are in an office building and can bring in a home harmony device and put it on your desk and nobody would notice, and just see if the energy changes, see if the environment changes. Get back to me. Write at the email info@letsgetmeta.com. Share, report back. I'm so curious what other people's experiences are with these tools because they work. And that's why I'm doing this season. If I didn't see and experience direct results from these tools myself, there's no point in spending all of this time and energy sharing this with anyone. And it's been so fun to have other people who have used these tools write in or send a voice recording. Often it's a video and I just pull the audio from it about their experiences with these various tools as well. But I'm someone who, if I had the resources and the time, I would love to do randomized experimental design controlled trials with all of these and see what just comes out, what would happen with the general public. Because, it's obvious that the people who are using these tools are, have a spiritual bent. They are interested in spiritual development. They're interested in the rapid evolution of their own consciousness. They care about things like that. But what's really neat is when folks wander or stumble onto these tools because they happen to be at a meal where someone used the food repair disc and noticed that their food went down easier and they didn't have the digestive system issues that they usually do with that type of, just they stumble upon this. They came into one of their friends' houses who happened to have a home harmony device and they felt the difference. We had a story recently that I didn't share in the testimonials because it wasn't audio recorded, but it was told to me just by voice that someone had workers in her house recently, and she caught the worker just staring at the home harmony device in her room, and because he was mesmerized by it and felt something from it. He felt that it was doing something. Now, how many of the people on this planet have these capabilities to sense, are very highly sensitive to things, can even see different things that the general public can't see? We don't know because a lot of those people don't ever share that they have those gifts, but that was one of those situations right there. So the travel-sized home harmony device costs $150. The larger one that is for your home is $259. And one of our dear contributors, testimonial sharers, called this a painting. It's not quite a painting. That's just how she described it in her testimonial. It's more of a picture, like a photo. I believe it's kind of like it's on photo paper, but it doesn't look like a photo. I said before it's purple. The larger one comes just the print itself. Most people get it framed so they can hang it on their wall. The smaller one comes with a plastic casing around it, so it's ready to use and travel with right away. You just keep it in the plastic case. Some people have a nice, they'll use it, put it in a holder, whatever you want to do for that. But that's how it comes. I can't say enough about this tool and how much it has positively and noticeably affected my life and those of several people that I know, especially people who are sensitive to mold. I talked about how much traveling has changed for me. Even though I don't have an acute sensitivity to mold, I notice the difference. And again, when you're used to it and then you don't have it, you've forgotten it, or you enter a place that doesn't have it, you notice it because it's a different feeling. It's wild, but it's true. And like I said, if anyone wants to test this and report back what their experience is, would love to hear it. I am going to leave it there for today. If you're interested in looking into the home harmony device more or other tools, you can visit globalcma.org. These angelic reformation tools are available to anyone interested. use your own discernment. If something is calling to you, there's probably a reason why it is calling to you. Maybe you have no interest or curiosity about the home harmony device, but maybe you will be very interested in astrological repair, which is one of our future episodes and a process you can listen to, because yes, it turns out astrology is real and it does affect us. That just blows my mind, but I will get there when I get there. If you feel called to leave a positive review for the podcast, please do. 'Tis the season. I'd be so grateful. You can leave a 5-star review with a positive word or two on Apple Podcast or Spotify. It really does help the episode reach the people who need to hear it. And as we approach the end of the year, I want to thank everyone who has ever been a part of this podcast in all of the ways, whether it is helping with the mechanics of the podcast, the production of it, the editing, the sound, the website, anyone who has supported the podcast on Patreon as a patron angel, anyone who has contributed to this podcast. We have now had over, it's hard to say. I think I've had somewhere around between 30 and 50 guests on the podcast, but more than that, I've now had over 100 different people leave testimonials between this season of the podcast and the season of miracles back in 2020. We have so many people who are contributing to this podcast. And then finally, of course, you, dear listener, if you're hearing my voice right now, you are part of this podcast. You, for some reason, have felt compelled to remain on this long and hear about this episode. So you are part of it. Thank you so much. We are coming up on the 8th year of the podcast next year. And there's so many people that have been part of this and helped it come to fruition and onto the material world, physical stage here on planet Earth. And of course, thank you very much to all of the angels and the non-seen beings who have been very much a part of this podcast from the beginning, because there's no way, as many of you know who have listened to the podcast for a while, I would have ever done a podcast if it weren't for my angelic teams, low key, but then high key yelling at me to do it until I did. So take that for how you will. Again, thank you to everyone involved. I wish you all happy holidays, happy new year. We will see you in 2026. As always, thank you for listening. Stay positive, stay safe, and stay meta.
The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an Up, and Awaken production and is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. The Let's Get Meta podcast is inspired by angels and supported by angels. If you would like to be a patron angel of the podcast, visit patreon.com/letsgetmeta. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.